The Spiritual Handyman, bringing spiritual tools to the hands of the people who need them. Sponsored by the Eagle Heart Foundation. The Eagle Heart Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that brings charitable contributions and educational enhancements to the people. So how can you be a part of the Spiritual Handyman and the Eagle Heart Foundation? The Triple Win Situation. This book was written by Granddaughter Crow, and half of the proceeds go to the Eagle Heart Foundation, which in turn sponsors the Spiritual Handyman. How to get it one? It's on Amazon and Kindle for only $9.99. So we are here to bring tools to you. Thank you so much, Spiritual Handyman. We believe in what you do.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Spiritual Handyman Internet TV show. My name is Jason Antelek, and I am your host today and every day. We have an amazing guest. Danelle Green is going to join us today, and she is a certified hypnotist and also a higher path learning practitioner. She is an amazing lady that is going to share some really great ways for us to connect with our soul power. Real quick, remind everybody that you can catch us on thespiritualhandyman.com. You can see us on the YouTube page, catch us on Facebook or Instagram. Hit all the buttons, have all the fun. Make sure that you join, subscribe, like, share, comment, all of the things that are possible to help us build the community. And thank you for being a part of this. Remember that this is about bringing the method that brings the tools, and the magic is already in you. So here we go with Miss Danelle Green. And Danelle, tell us a little bit about you and how you got started and what you're doing.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I love that you also believe and are telling everyone that the magic is in you, because that is so true. So one of the main messages I have today in my hypnotherapy practice is the message of soul power. And for me, I help clients activate their soul power. And for me, it all began on October 31st, 2013. At the time, I was working for a church, and I was feeling very forlorn. I own all of that now as part of my journey, and I really learned from it. But a friend suggested that I listen to a book called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. And in that book, I learned that the part we create from is far deeper and stronger. The part we create from can't be touched by anything society did or our parents did. The part we create from is unsullied and indestructible. And when I heard those words, I all of a sudden, for the first time in my life, I felt okay, just solidly okay. And that is when I realized I became aware of my soul. So that started my personal soul power journey.
Oh, that's fabulous. Thank you for sharing that. It's amazingly interesting that there was just a moment that happened for you.
Yes.
And those kind of moments they don't happen to everybody. Some people just kind of flow in, and then they don't recognize where the turning point was until much later. So I think that's fabulous that you have such an exact moment. I know on this version of my spiritual journey, I have a very similar moment that happened on October 16th of 2015. Coming up here pretty quick will be the 3 years, and taking it back to that moment can be a little humbling, and the way it sounds for you is that once you connected with that soul power and felt your soul, that some things really started to change for you. So to help us understand what's happening here and what you're talking about, how about sharing with us what is soul power?
Yes, exactly. So the first real step that I took was that I resigned my church job a year later because God said I could. And I began following the words of John Wesley, which is the world is my parish. And so rather than serving 200 people, I'm serving a billion, or how many ever people there are on the planet right now. And so that became really exciting. It just really opened my heart to what that would mean for me. And then just the next month after that, we went to New Delhi, India for our daughter's wedding. And I asked my son-in-law to be, how do I greet people in India? How do I greet my new family? And he said, namaste. And I had not even heard of the word. And so I asked him what it meant, and he said, the divine in me greets the divine in you. And I thought to myself, after 14 years of ministry, that is the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me. And I began to understand the divine nature of all people, and the value of each soul on this planet. That was the next step. And then I created a business when I got home from India called Celebrations of Life, in which I write and present weddings and funerals. And I literally sent back my denominational parchments and got ordained online like everyone else. And now I get to do and believe what's deeply true for me every day. And that's a part of obeying my soul.
And honoring that is so immensely powerful as well, to be able to connect with that and to hold on to it. And it sounds like for you, it was fulfilling right from the beginning, and you started noticing some changes, and there was obviously some big shifts in your life. It sounds like you were also really open to communication from spirit and the way things were starting to appear in your life. Is that accurate for you?
Absolutely. You know, I've always been a learner, and one of the concepts I began to think about then is life as teacher, and it's part of the experience that I bring people through. So I just learned to listen to everyone and everything and find profound truth in whatever came my way. And since then, I've studied a couple of social theorists, and one of which said that the unconditional love is the highest consciousness that we can have. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm just going to live a life of love. And even professionally, I talk about love, and I sign my emails with love, and it's all about love. So that's one of the things that I'm living. Another thing that I'll just mention very quickly is that the more I read and study, so many people are talking about like listening to our inner voice, our intuition. You know, that still small voice of intuition is really our guide, and trusting that. And as long as the voice you're listening to is leading you toward the well-being of yourself and the people around you and the world and the planet, just really trusting that. And then the power that comes from your soul to carry that out is just amazing. So I have a kind of a theory or a theme, just is that to activate your soul power is first light, love, power, and wisdom. And that's part of the journey that I'm on as well.
Light, love, power, and wisdom.
Yeah, absolutely.
You really just, any of those you can't go wrong with, but you put all four of them together, and it's like the four horsemen of the enlightenment.
Yes, thank you so much.
That's great.
Well,
that's great.
And the funny thing is, one of the other practices I have is I do everything in threes, because I want to remember that I'm body, mind, and soul, and the planet, and just I do everything in threes. And so it kind of irks me that there's four parts to that part of my program, because it's just God's funny way of saying, see, there's always more. There's always more than three.
Well, maybe there's a subcategory of three under each one to satisfy that part for you. That gets you to 12. And 1 and 2 is 3. So you're
Oh,
right back
you
where
got
you
that. That's it. That's it.
there we
You
go.
just solved something for me. I've learned from you today.
Phew. Oh, good. So we're giving back to our community. That's what this is all about. So there's a couple of things that really jump out to me, and I feel like this question is really powerful. So I'm going to just go ahead and ask it. What in that moment when you recognized your soul, what did that feel like? Do your best to put it into words or feelings for us, but what was that experience like, that moment?
Oh, it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. So this is the deal. I wasn't trusting myself, and I had a lot of questions because my work situation was a little frustrating and whatever. I mean, I was very well liked. I own any frustration that I had at that point. I own, but I was just very forlorn, like I said, and I just wasn't really trusting myself, and I wasn't really trusting that God was with me. And it's super hard to be a pastor when you don't really even trust if God's with you or if you're hearing from God. And so I stayed home from work that day because I really couldn't go in. And I listened to this book that my friend suggested. And all of a sudden, it's like when that one line that the part you create from, which I now understand to be my soul, can't be touched by anything your parents did or society did. So I grew up with alcoholic parents and a bipolar mom, a single mom. Met my dad when I was 10. And, that impacted my life in a lot of ways. I'm over it, most of it now, but so I'm like, okay, that isn't what's making me sad. And society and the job that I have right now can't touch. There's a part of me that is pure and holy and can't be touched. And the thing about that is that I always knew that. I always knew that there was a pure place inside of me that connects with God, but I couldn't find it or believe it on a consistent basis. Like it was something that was fleeting. Like on a good day, I'd feel it and it's good. But other than that, it kept coming in and out of my consciousness. And that's pretty a hard way to live. And so that day when I realized that no one or nothing or no one can touch this part of me that is unsullied, which means pure and indestructible, I felt solidly okay. Like my innermost being was completely 100% fine. I mean, it took me a while to really believe it enough to let it impact every single day. And that's part of what I want to do for my clients is that, first of all, I do guided meditation for soul power anywhere I go. It's just a little 3-minute process. And because I want to give this away for free. I want every person on the planet that ever even comes in contact with me in person, on video or online or whatever, to know that they have 100% connection to divine source. And they never have to doubt that again. And if they go to church and they're wondering, am I doing this right? Then they can believe that they are, because God is with them. And if they don't go to church and they're just, spiritual people, because we're all spiritual people actually, then they can believe it. And it just makes so much difference in your life. I just can't even tell enough people.
That's amazing that you're sharing that level of passion, and your mission is so beautifully focused. You found what that message is, and you're really getting it out there. And I commend you for that. Thank you so much for being that person and championing, that philosophy and getting to people at a soul level. That is something that I strive to do in my practice as well, is to help people understand themselves at a soul level. And you're even breaking that down further and taking it to, you're a soul and you're fine, and it's okay to be that soul and be connected. And you really just opened my eyes to to understanding that it's kind of like that thing that's just out of reach that you can't quite explain, right? That little piece that, there's a little bit something more. What is it? Where is it? And it sounds like what you do connects people to that. So I'm really excited to experience the meditation. I mean, I'll calm down a little by then, I think. But one of the things I'd like to ask is, on a daily basis, like you said, we tend to kind of drift, or we tend to get caught up in our heads or whatever that we might be experiencing or doing. How do you bring yourself back to that place? What are some simple things that can help us just come back to that soul level connection again?
Yes, absolutely. For me, it's the feeling that I have of feeling solidly okay. And, okay doesn't really describe the depth of how I felt, but it's the word that came to mind when it happened. I'm like, I'm okay. That was the word, so I have to use it, So that's the one thing, is I go back to that day and it's like, oh, no. Remember that day, Danelle? Remember that day when you became aware of your soul? I'm like, okay, that's right. But if you could, I'll just give people another word picture. So our soul is kind of the big S of our self. That's who we are. And so oftentimes in your life, we're trying to become someone, and the carrot's always out there, right? And we're not ever achieving it. But really, when you realize your soul is the big S of your life, and that's really who you are, you strive to become who you are on the inside. It's with you, and it is who you are. And so when you can just know that who you are is on the inside, and it's there solidly to be expressed in life. So our ego is the small s, and our ego is just everything else that comes with living on this planet. And our ego and all of that, our small self, obscures our soul. Like some days you've got so much going on in trying to maintain, your life, that you kind of forget that your soul is purely there and ready to help you, and you've got connection to universal light, love, power, and wisdom. And so it changes in an instant, and you do have to recall it, but it doesn't take like minutes even to recall it. You just go back there. And then the second and third part of my program, so the first part, or I should say experience, that's a better word. The first part is activate your soul power. The second one is live your infinite greatness. And in that part, I help clients remove all those blocks that are keeping them from feeling infinitely great. I mean, wouldn't it be great if you could wake up every morning going, I am infinitely great. I can do this. I've got what it takes. I have got everything within me to do today. So that is a super cool goal. And then the third part is to be your own hero. See, I stuck to 3 on this one. Be your own hero. So what I do there is help people with self-hypnosis and journaling strategies where they can kind of work through their own issues. So they come away after this experience with a lot of personal tools. So that's how I help people become daily aware of their soul.
Okay. That's thanks for sharing the 3-step system. The as you said, an experience. Is that what you call it? Experience that you created? I'm gonna have to change my program to an experience, I think. So I owe you $1 for that one. The pieces that I'm hearing in there that are really interesting, that keep pulling me in, are the tools that have come up for you. And self-hypnosis, is as a tool, is that like meditation? Is it different than meditation? Help us help our viewers and listeners understand that a little better.
Well, yeah, and that gets back to why I became a hypnotherapist. And so the spring of the first year of my business, I was home. You know how compelling sugar is when you're
Oh yeah.
at home.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know.
Anyway, so I just say that in my story that I had an eating behavior that was not serving me. So I went to a group hypnotherapy class, and I have not eaten an Oreo cookie or a graham cracker since May of 2015, nor could I if you put one in my hand. And I realized after a couple months that this is an amazing tool. So that fall, I became a certified hypnotherapist because it's such a great uh, tool for health and healing. And since then, my dear husband of 33 years, love him dearly, but he has bought like this Costco-sized thing of cashews. Try as I might, I couldn't stay out of those cashews. So just this last May, literally, I hypnotized myself not to eat them. And I can't eat a cashew, like if my life depended on it. So I teach clients how to remove particular food items from their life that they would that's no longer serving them. It's a very specific technique, and I do all of the self-hypnosis toward the end of my soul power experience, because you have to have some foundation of mind processing to help you with the surety that that would work for them. So yeah, and then some other just journaling things that have been everything. You know what, the other thing is that everything in my experience I've experienced, because I will not try to teach or tell anyone anything that I haven't lived in my own life. So yeah, that's, and one other thing, my program experience is 6 months long. And some people might think, oh my goodness, that's so long. But I hired a business coach, and I had 6 months to work on my business with her. And I felt so relaxed because I had plenty of time. If it had been a 3-month program, I would have been like panicking that I already felt behind. So it's my goal to journey with people long enough where they can make the changes. You know, once you make one change, it really filters down into all areas of your life, and then we'll make another change and then let that impact every area of your life. And so that's part of the plan too.
And I identify really well with working with folks over that 6-month time frame. That it takes one-on-one support. It takes ongoing support for true transformation when you really want to focus and, like you said, build on those changes. And it's powerful when you have authentically experienced what you're teaching. I'm the same way. It's got to be from the heart. It's got to be from my experience. It has to be something that I'm really into. And it took me some time to develop a program that's similar. You and I are doing a lot of the same things from different directions, and I just feel a kindred spirit. I use the Akashic records, and you use hypnotherapy. I think it's a neat complement to how each of us are helping people. It's very cool. And you did share with me before we got started. You mentioned that you have a 3-minute meditation for us, something to share to help us connect with our soul. So can we do that?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things I want to explain a little bit before we do that about the concept of light. And so when I was just, letting life teach me, this following saying came into my mind, and it was, you are a star because that's who you are. You shine. You are light, making our world more bright. And I want that to be a children's book someday. And so when that you are a star came to my mind, I thought, well, what is it about light? So I studied that. And we each have biophotons in our body. And so we have light energy in our body. We're beings of light, which is so amazing. So that was really my first way that I activated my soul power, is just to imagine my body filled with light. And so that's where we'll begin. And also I'll do a meditation that part of it has to do with love, and then power and wisdom. And so I am ready to get started with that. And I really focus well when I do guided meditation with my eyes closed. And I know we're on video. And so I'm going to close my eyes because I'm assuming you're closing your eyes. So but you don't have to, obviously. You be you. All right. Okay, great. So just to begin, I'd like you to take 3 breaths through your nose, in through your nose, holding it, and then out through your nose. Just to instruct you that breathing in and out through your nose is the most relaxing way to breathe. Another breath in through your nose, holding it, and out through your nose. And in through your nose, and out through your nose. Perfect, perfect. That's a very relaxing breath. And so your mind, your lungs, your whole body is becoming more relaxed with that breath. If during this guided meditation you have any sense of tension that's anywhere in your body, I would invite you to breathe out through your mouth as though you're breathing any sense of tension that you might find in your body into the air around you for love to take away. So again, you're invited to breathe out of your mouth if you feel any tension. Perfect. So for the first part of this meditation, I'd like you to imagine your soul within your body. And you're going to imagine whatever first comes to mind. Some people imagine their soul being the very inmost part of their body at the cellular level. Others might imagine it around their heart area. Of course, our crown chakra is right above our head, and that's our spiritual center, energy center, so we can imagine it just above us. Perfect. I'm going to give you just another few seconds to imagine your soul within your body. Great. Now I'd like you to imagine your soul filled with light, radiant, pure light. And as you imagine your soul being filled with light, allow that light to break through to every cell of your body, to the very edge of your skin, of your entire body. Imagine your body becoming full of light and feeling lighter. Perfect. And even with every breath, that light is just pulsating out. And now that light is pulsating, just expanding to the space around you, to the aura around you, breaking through every cell of your body to the space around you. Perfect. As you continue to breathe naturally and normally through your nose in a relaxed way, I'd like you to imagine that the very space around you is filled with love. One way to imagine this is like a water glass being filled with love and then overflowing to the space around you. Perfect. And next, just imagining that because your soul is connected to universal divine source or God, that you are filled with the very power of the universe. The power that creates every blade of grass, every flower, every tree, every person, to the universal stars. There's just infinite power available to you. Just feel that from the minute to the universal, the universe. Perfect. And the next thing that I'd like you to imagine is that you have within you, within your soul, a still small voice of intuition. And if you imagine your life as teacher and that you just open yourself up to learning, whatever will allow you to love yourself, love others, and love the planet. that's your path. Okay, taking another deep breath in. And to you, I want to say namaste. And open your eyes. Perfect.
Whee!
I don't know if that was 3 minutes.
It was beautiful either way. It was perfect.
Good.
Yeah, that's. I felt like I was going to lift out of my seat there for.
I know.
That was great. I love the analogy of filling up with the water overflowing into the space around you.
I know.
That really took it to kind of the next level for me. It took it to the next place. So I'm glad that you have that in there. That was really powerful. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, and actually that came from a study that if we could sit filled with love in our meditation, that is so much better for our health than perhaps praying and with a long list of needs that sometimes that's like really boring and kind of disappointing. So I just literally sit. I mean, how easy is it to sit in a chair being filled with love? I mean, it's so doable. That's the other thing. Everything that I suggest is absolutely doable because I know I won't do it if it's not doable. So.
Just keeping it real. I like that. So Danelle, thank you so much for everything that you've shared and sharing your stories and sharing with us what your mission is. If people would like to know more about you and would like more information, let's take an opportunity here to let them know how they can find you, where they can find you. Just take it away. Tell them where you're at.
Yeah, I appreciate that. One of the first things I did when I created my business was come up with a very easy website. It's DanelleGreen.com. So that's DANELLE, green just like the color.com. So in that you can find my hypnotherapy page and read more about that. I have 3 giveaways. So the first is a Soul Power PDF. So it's a guided meditation that's a lot more detailed than what I just did for you. And it's in writing. It's 2-page. So you can contact me on the Contact Me page and I can get that out to you. Next, I have a video that just tells more about my Soul Power experience, especially when I stood before the Lincoln Memorial. That's a very impactful time for me as well, and some of those other stories. And then the third thing that I give away, which I know will benefit people, is an actual guided meditation for activating your soul power. So those are all the ways to reach me for those benefits. And then to schedule a 21-minute Soul Power Breakthrough Experience phone call or video call. So actually that's 4. Yeah. DanelleGreen.com. You can find it all there.
That's great. I'm sure that people will take advantage of that information being available in the description down below the video. It'll also be in the comments section posted there as well. Please remember that you can find the Spiritual Handyman Show on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, also at thespiritualhandyman.com. And Danelle, we want to thank you once again for bringing that light to the community and to the world at large, busting out of the mold, and instead of just helping one person at a time, helping billions at a time. It's a simple message that has just such a wide hit. Planet-wide, you're making an impact, and thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason. And blessings to you and all of your good work.
Thank you so much. Thanks. And namaste. I'm going to use that a lot more. That one's really stuck with me. Thank you so much for that. And ladies and gentlemen, we will see you in the next episode. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, share, comment. All of those things are helpful. We love your feedback. We love to hear about what's working for you and what it is you're able to apply in your life so that we know what methods to bring you the tools to remind you that the magic is in you. We will see you next time on the Spiritual Handyman Show. Thank you so much. See you next episode.